Hello everyone, I hope you're having a wonderful day. Today we have a grand campaign for you. Our first round is going to be on the Flemming Meadows, where the Pickett's Brigade will be leading the CSA side and the Hamptons Legion will be leading the Union side. Whereas for a second round our sides are going to switch and we're on the Hagerstown Turnpike. So the 17th Michigan Midwest Brigade will be leading the Union campaign on CSA and the 1st Kentucky will be leading the CSA campaign on the Union side. Before we get into this, thank you to our YouTube members for the support. If you'd like to support, go beneath the video and hit the join button. By doing so you can get a live stream of all the broadcasts we do. You can advertise your regiment in the bottom of our videos and get an additional broadcast per week. So, our regiments for today, on the CSA campaign side, you have the 11th Mississippi, 42nd Pennsylvania, 30th Ohio, Davis Brigade, 12th Virginia, 1st Kentucky, Pickett's Brigade, 15th Alabama, and the Irish Volunteer Brigade. Whereas on the Union campaign side, you got the Free States Iron Brigade, Colquitt's Brigade, Hampton's Legion, 1st Delaware, 17th Michigan, 28th Massachusetts, which is 9th Corps, except they signed up as that token and they requested that, which is why it says that instead of 9th Corps. And then the Union also has the 11th Pennsylvania. Our actual server pop as of today, it's currently 251 in balance of 7 in Union's favor right now. Both sides have artillery and they're taking it. CSA have 5, Union has 6. So our infantry in balance right now is 6 in favor of the Union side. I'm sure they'll appreciate that. Union campaign frontline reporter for today is Lucian from the Iron Brigade, more specifically 15th Wisconsin. And on the other side of things, we have a 1st Kentucky perspective from Shifty. Appreciate these guys so we can see what's going on the ground while also seeing what is going on in the sky. So, Flemming's Meadow, we don't necessarily know the ticket in balance on this map as that has never been fully tested yet. However, in the recent update, which happened a couple days ago, the Defenders got a 7.5% increase to their tickets. Now, I think this was a terrible move, and I'll explain that as we get going with our round. However, the weapons for this map, Union attack, they got the 1st Massachusetts and the 2nd Wisconsin. Both have the option of the Lorenz. CSA side, on the other hand, they got the 30th Virginia with the option of the Springfield 55, the Enfield, and the Springfield 42. So they got Buck and Ball, and they also have the 4th Louisiana Regiment with the option of the Enfield and the Springfield 55. So, point of contention, kind of back here on this big hill. It's kind of hard to see with the weather, which they focused on the weather in this recent update, and I will say it just feels like more of a storm. At least I will say that. But CSA has a strong defensive line on this kind of hill here that follows alongside the point. And the CSA, as of late, have really just been holding behind this hill. However, early on when this map was first released, CSA liked to do this. It did not always work. The hill's a strong defensive position. You can be defilade. You can hide behind it, right? And if Union wants to charge you out, they have to cross the open field. However, if you're CSA and you put yourself up here, Union can have a much easier time getting to you. So it'll be fascinating to see how this works for the CSA side. Meanwhile, Union's strategy is just kind of trying to break through the CSA line, get up on that hill. You can kind of go into a shootout in this center area like we're seeing right now. However, it's entirely possible for Union to go out on the CSA right flank. And potentially this side, although it's much more open. That forest that you can kind of see there, it's out of bounds, and Union can't go there. So, close fighting here. 12th VA, IVB. You also got 11th Mississippi getting really close to Union. I think this is a mistake on their part, and we already got some charging here. CQB is going straight into this.
Give yourself some space from this fence. Rebels, brace up on the fence now.
Step up! Step up!
I know there's some movement on the CSA right, and we'll get to that in a moment. However, this is what I mean, right? This is one of those maps where as CSA you can play for time. There's no need to be aggressive like this. However, with a little more tickets on their side, I'm sure they're going to appreciate. This is like the slowest, most anticlimactic charge, in quotes, that I've ever seen. Looks like you got more CSA, though, pushing up. Pickett's Brigade, nice little flank. Saw that the friendlies were in combat, so might as well move up to assist. And they get a beautiful flank, and Union's getting completely shot off this position. I mean, when CSA's got bucket ball and Union doesn't, it's going to be very difficult for the Union side to hold that out in the long term. And CSA will shoot them down. One Union flag down for now, which looks like CSA is going to prevent that. Meanwhile, on the CSA right side, looks like you got Davis Brigade, 1st Kentucky. You got 30th Ohio and 42nd Pennsylvania holding the grounds over here. And they're just kind of duking it out with the 1st Delaware, Hampton's Legion, 28th Massachusetts. Kind of on this side. And already we can see that Union's down a fourth of a morale stage from the full amount of battle ready, but they're also losing. And that's why it was kind of surprising to see the defender buff increase. The past couple times I've seen this, when CSA does the strategy as I prescribed at the beginning of this round of just kind of sitting back behind the defilade, shooting it out with the Union, and then responding accordingly when the Union moves, CSA wins this map, and they win it pretty decisively as well. So it's a very hard map for Union to win. I don't know why the defenders got a buff on this map. If anything, you would think the attackers would need a buff. A lot of the ticket balances that were done in this recent update, while the ticket balances were needed for a lot of these maps, some of them just don't make any sense at all. And it's kind of a continuing trend with the developers to rely all their decision-making based on public matches, which I don't think it's a good idea. They made the 10-second, the 5-second flag spawn. It used to be where you'd take 10 seconds to spawn on a flag, but it was moved down to 5 seconds. And the developers said they made that change because they played in some public matches and people were complaining. And obviously, some of these ticket balances don't reflect what I've seen, at least from private events over the past couple of months. So there's that too. And I mean, they don't really seem to respect regiments a whole lot by calling us like clans. And sure, it's just a name, but it's kind of the demeanor added alongside of that. It's also been asked not to have update days when we have events. And this has been asked for the past couple of updates, and it doesn't happen. And that's why there was no events. That's why I had no video on Wednesday, because of that, which it is what it is. But I should do updates on Monday because there's no major event until Wednesday. It's Sunday and then Wednesday. You get a 2-day window there to fix bugs and issues. The servers were down like an hour and a half before this event started. Thankfully, we're here. But anyways, Union side, looks like they did end up losing 2 flags over here. They're trying to get form backed up. Their main spawn's kind of far away. It takes them a couple minutes to actually get back up into the fight. But Union's job at this point, they just need to be getting these flags and then running back.
Space is occupied, don't stand there.
And is it hold your shots, spread it out. Oh, fine, I'll try to play.
Apparently as well, there was never an intention in this game to actually have private servers, which is kind of wild to me. But you got CQB, big numbers here as always. It's always surprising because, at least this is what I'm told from some NA people. It's like the CQB NA side's a little bit smaller. They're still great people, don't get me wrong. They're a little smaller though, and then they show up to commentate an EU event, and they're like, "Holy crap, CQB brings a lot," and a lot they do. And this map's going to be tricky for Union, obviously, kind of what I've described. But the issue is that CSA has kind of spread themselves across the whole width of the map, and I mean around 250, right? 260. I mean, 130 dudes on the CSA side. They can kind of defend the whole width of the map. They're not really doing that. But what Union needs to do is this event, they have Steam chat, so officers can communicate back and forth with each other in an instant. But Union has to group up and charge one of the sides as quickly as possible and hope that CSA doesn't reinforce. Union has to defeat in detail to get an advantage. Otherwise, the issue is right now is that, I mean, Union is spreading themselves out alongside the CSA defense. And that's just going to play right into CSA's hands, especially when they have Buck and Ball. So a lot of this game comes down to numbers. Sure, Buck and Ball is a big part of it as well, but numbers is impactful as well. Fun shenanigans. But I mean, the Union, as an attack, you generally want to get the defender down to engage by the 30-minute mark. And I mean, we're 10 minutes into the round starting, which obviously there's not fighting for the first couple of minutes because everyone's moving out of their main spawn. However, you still got to get them down by the 30-minute mark. And I mean, CSA looks like they're getting a couple good shots there on Union. It's a nice angle to have. So Union's starting to shift from the center side. Starting to make a push up. Looks like those flags over there got picked up. Yeah, they all got picked up. They're all sitting here. And here's the thing, right? CSA is starting to see Union's movements, and they're responding accordingly, moving to the center. When you're attacking, you need to move quick, especially if you want to charge. And it doesn't really seem like Union wants to, but the thing is, right, is that if Union would not have stopped here and they just would have pushed straight up there and gone in like we see over here, these CSA guys would still be kind of in the middle here while Union's engaging in melee and potentially being able to defeat in detail. But alas, I don't know why Union's not charging in at this point. They're getting caught in a crossfire. In the open field at that, too. I mean, you got Union on this right side as well, starting to get up in nice shots. Why aren't you going up to that snake fence there? That's even better shots. Or just charging in. Sure, it's a rough map for Union, but there is also... You can play good and still lose. I mean, CSA has, in my opinion, made a couple of mistakes, but they are doing perfectly fine. So Union, unsurprisingly, there gets thrown back. Still losing on the ticket battle as well. Almost a half morale stage, and we've barely seen a whole lot. Again, the balance of these maps is some of, if not the most important thing for this game. Because if maps are unplayable meaning one side can outright win regardless of what kind of happens because of the ticket imbalance, like, people don't want to play those maps, and so you just don't see some maps anymore. Like Maryland Heights, you never see it anymore because it's, in my opinion and from other people said, too CSA bias. If CSA wins one charge, they win it all, and Union doesn't have a shot at that. Meanwhile, Union has a shot at potentially winning a charge over here. They're now charging in about even numbers. But can Union take it? Flags are important in these charges. Which CSA's keeping their flag behind. They're starting to countercharge here, trying to get that flag, and Union is down to engage. And so Union gets picked apart pretty quickly. They kind of spearheaded the center and won that, but they did not get the flanks in the end. And CSA is going to collapse and finish off the few guys there. That's the thing. You see in a lot of events where maps are banned. High Street's banned. In a lot of maps, you don't see Rivers Crossing. You don't see Maryland Heights because the maps are too biased. You need to get the balance right. And now, obviously, there's a lot of different... It's hard to balance in this game. Looks like we got a little charge here, though. FSB is going out the far side. 12th VA IBB guys pursuing them. Why not? Those guys might be out of bounds.
You motherfucker suck!
Go back to wearing skirts and high-tied socks, you sons of bitches.
That's the thing, right, too, is Union can't get in the woods over here. Anywhere they go, it's in the wide open. Very difficult. But, yeah, it's really hard to balance in this game. Because, I mean, I wonder if they updated it. We have servers up to 400 players now. And the tickets scale based on the server size, right? There's a lot of people dying in a high pop server, right? In a small pop servers, not a lot of people are going to be dying. And so you don't want to set the tickets per death to one or the other, right? Because let's say you set them for a large server where a lot of people are dying, and you make it so that each death has makes it so that your team only loses a little bit amount of tickets. If you had a 100 pop server, that wouldn't work, right? Because if everyone dying has a little ticket effect on their team, and there's not a lot of people dying, then no one's going to move the bar down. So that was one of the smarter things the devs did, is the tickets lost per death scale based on server size. It makes it very hard to balance, though. Very, very hard to balance, because Roulette Lane, I think, is a perfect example. Where back in the day when it was 150, 200 man servers, the CSA side would just roll the Union. But now that Union can get 250, 300 player total servers and they can defend the whole defensive line, it's hard to break through. It's really hard to balance the skirmish game mode. The best they can do is watch regimentals, ask regimental leaders, watch these broadcasts, or just play in regimental events where the best of the best play, and then make the balances based on that. And they have not done that, unfortunately. But That's another reason why I think skirmish should be capped at 200 players. You know, you could just weave this whole conversation about what I think the game should be, but that's a little too much there, and we'll definitely do that for a different video. But so Union's kind of gotten into a shootout here. But CSA does finally drop to engage. It's about a minute after what you would want. So, I mean, Union for the most part is kind of gathering up on this left side, but you can see CSA put a lot of guys in an area where Union wasn't at. Now they're starting to move. If Union would have just gone in right away, they maybe would have had a chance to defeat in detail. And now it looks like they're going to go in. But, again, you wait too long, and CSA is going to be able to respond here. But alas, they will try. And that is all that matters. Surely. CSA's flanking from the really far side. They're trying to get behind the Union lines and potentially get some flags, which is a good idea, but CSA might be able to defeat in detail, or CSA might be defeated in detail because of this, but here comes this wave.
Shit, my bad. Sorry.
CSA, though, despite all of that, is starting to overtake this in the end. And Union just got to protect their flags, which there goes one. Another moment. And it looks like CSA team is going to hold there pretty well. Looks like 3 Union flags are actually down, and tickets interchange a whole lot. So, I mean, that's the thing, right? Union isn't winning on the shootout necessarily. At least we haven't really seen a longer shootout on this map so far. But the charges, which when Union kind of has a full team charge like that, you would expect it to work more than not better for the attackers. And it just didn't help them at all. We don't know the exact ticket imbalance on this map, but it has to be close. It's just some maps aren't playable if you can't get the ticket loss. But Union, they got to get those flags back. It might be a little difficult because they're deep in CSA lines. Not really deep, but...
Double line. On the line, make it pretty.
Move it up, Hampton.
Get your loads
Everybody
on the
ready?
line.
Everybody ready?
Yes.
We're ready.
Ready.
Alright, double quick, let's go. Double quick forward.
Let's go.
I'm tired, Grandpa.
I don't care. Damn it.
I'm
If you
tired,
haven't finished your loads,
Grandpa.
get them when we're there.
You signed the papers, now move.
Keep on digging.
Up and over, CQB.
Up and over.
Up and over.
Sounds like you guys have a fiber problem.
Let's go.
What was that little, like, it sounded like a snake rattle at the end of his sentence there. It's like the, I forgot the guy's name from Harry Potter. There we go, we got horses, you heard it there, you heard the little neigh. Anyways, you know, it's like, sure, CSA is playing a little more aggressive up front than what the ideal strat is, at least based on what I've seen, but, you know, it's working, so you really can't complain. So, Hagerstown, the next map we got a ticket in balance change as well. The attackers got less tickets, which is a mistake. When I did the update video, which you can see what the game brought to us, a new update, and also my thoughts on that as a whole, which based on how I've been saying things the past, at least since this broadcast beginning, you can kind of tell my thoughts on the whole thing. But the the more I didn't look at the ticket balance changes when the maps when the update was first dropped. I didn't look at them because that wasn't the overarching thing that I was looking at. However, the more and more I'm seeing these maps, a lot of these don't make sense. Like, as of late, Hagerstown Turnpike, and I'm going to repeat this next round as well, is just Hagerstown Turnpike, it's become a lot more even of a map, and you've kind of seen CSA start to win it a little more. Just based on, it's a wide open field, kind of like we're seeing here, and Union has to move across an open area. With CSA having good positions, it's a hard map for Union to win, and they decreased Union tickets by 10%. An absurd amount. But with that all being said, you got 1st Delaware, HL, 28th Massachusetts Midwest Brigade pushing up this left side, getting in a shootout. They need to try to get these flags because if a guy dies, right, he's got to spawn all the way back there, and that's where 3/4 of this Union team. And I actually really like what CSA is doing here. Obviously, they have their artillerymen on the caissons there, but they're playing kind of aggressive here, just trying to keep Union off. Maybe not aggressive in the right place, which yeah, they should have more guys on that rock. Maybe they're just trying to, turtle it, which isn't a bad idea per se, but if you have an opportunity to keep Union flags down, you should try to take it. But again, doesn't really matter. I mean, it's a half morale stage difference right now.
Just take me in.
Hey, Sergeant Neal.
Not that poor man.
Sergeant Neal.
Open order. Keep it spaced.
IV, pull back. IV, pull back. Get back out.
So,
Run away.
Union's got at least 3 of their flags right now. One of them is down. Looks like Union's moving up aggressively again. But the thing is that they don't have it with their whole team. Oh, what a volley. I got the back half of that. 42nd and 30th. That got a good chunk.
I'm just dropped. A lot.
Get your loots.
Fuck. Helms in. Make sure we keep moving.
Fuck!
Back.
Okay, same position.
Hey.
Hey! Don't forget that flag, stay flags.
Wait for the order. Reload.
Reload.
So they're just putting shots. I mean, Union's really clumping up.
Shot, Hamptons. Easy shot.
They're really clumping up behind the one bit of cover they have, but that just lets CSA just pile in it. I mean, some of the guys maybe are shooting from this side as well. So it's
Pull back, Hampton. Fall Frenchie, heading northwest.
and yeah, you get why Union's trying to push up and play aggressive, but with CSA having buck and ball, you're not going to win a close shootout on this map. That's just not happening. Union just has to group up and charge in. Sure, they kind of done that, but they were slow with it. They let CSA respond. And, I mean, maybe Union can take this back, but it's almost too much at this point. That flag despawned up there, 5-minute despawn timer on it.
Anderson, no.
Oh, I love this ball.
Keep it up, Jen.
Maintain independent. Keep firing. Aim low.
Keep shooting, gentlemen.
Keep firing. Don't stop shooting.
That man was jiggling there a little bit. Yeah, he's jiggling.
Your town.
Keep shooting.
He's standing up. He's a midget.
See the flag.
Forget to bring a towel.
See northeast.
Now this is the game I know and love.
What?
Have that puff of black.
It was around when I first played. However, I never experienced it, or at least I don't remember. There was a crash bush, where if you walked into the bush, it would just crash your game. The amount of trolling that happened because of that was a bit immense. Also, too, it used to be when you run into a caisson while someone was rolling it, it would shoot you across the map. And it just kind of shows you, I mean, just some of the things that they have at least done the past couple of years. Of all the complaints, the one thing they've done very good at is fixing the bugs and optimizations over the long run. This game, I mean, I know I have a nicer PC, however, being able to get up to 500 players and it run well for most people is pretty dang impressive. And the game runs nice. It feels good. That poor dude just got destroyed by that. I mean, it looks like the tickets are getting a little even, but I wouldn't necessarily trust that when you hit a new morale stage, you don't drop for a while, and then once you start dropping through the stage, you'll drop really fast. It's like the bars are longer than what is shown on the screen, which, good or bad, it is what it is.
Dragon, right in front of us, there's a line and a lot of smoke. Almost southeast.
Shoot him up, boy.
I'm not gonna even bother to get my route load because I'm just gonna die in like 5 seconds.
I'm reloading.
Thank you, Sancho.
But, another thing too, right? Union strategy hasn't been the most sound this round, but they keep doing the same thing. Maybe, we don't know how big of a ticket advantage they have, and maybe they're like, okay, we probably have some ticket advantage, and so we can try to shoot them down. And shooting down can work, right? Each side in a shootout at a similar distance, sure, buck and ball might change a thing or two. However, you generally, in the general sense, there's so many variables going into if a shot actually hits. That's a 1-to-1 trade in kills, meaning it's a 1-to-1 trade in ticket loss. This is the attackers have a larger percentage of tickets than the attackers over the long run, in theory, would have more tickets, overall tickets remaining. But I don't know how much that really applies to. It's that CSA buck and ball. And I mean, the thing is, it's just another issue of, in this game, you'll see this a lot. Groups are clumped, like, Union's trying to stay in the only defensive spot they have while trying to get close to CSA. It's just this little clump of trees. There's some rocks here, right? You don't blame Union for going here, but the issue is that CSA has the strong defensive position on this side, and so they can have the defilade over here. They got trees and bushes and rocks that they can hold in over here. It's a really strong spot, and so when Union tries to creep up through here, and you'll see this on Schoolhouse Ridge with the snake fence for CSA when they push up to attack, but Union can just sit up on the road on that map, or rather on this map, they spread really far out, and they're just shooting into a clump of dudes. It never works out well for the clump of dudes. You see this in Conquest and Contention when someone tries to capture a lower flag. They'll clump around a tiny point. The opponent team will just spread out around the point and just shoot into an area. You might not hit the first guy, but they're in a blob. You're going to hit the guy behind him. And again, nice canister shot, Mr. Tyler over there. But I don't get what Union's strategy is here. Sure, it's a hard map, but you've been doing the same thing for the past 20 minutes. You got to change something up. So, 3/4 morale stage now. You see what I mean, right? Yeah, it looked like the tickets were about a 1/4 of morale stage difference, and now it's blown up into a 3/4 of a morale stage. So, I almost wish it used to be where you wouldn't see. When the game first came out, it would show the exact number of tickets each side have. And then it changed to the bars like we have here, except you didn't know how far you were through a stage. It just showed taking losses, breaking, battle ready, right? It just showed the text. There was no bar to tell you how far you were through it. And so there was a lot more smart officer play that was required because of it. If you were in breaking or taking losses for a while, you got to start thinking like, all right, are we going to go down to our next stage? And it forces you and an officer to take that next step to be great at the game. Which removing that obviously made it a lot easier for everyone to understand what's going on. I mean, just the viewing experience here, it's very nice for at least myself and the viewers here to understand where everyone's at. But when you're playing, it can completely change what's going on. Meanwhile, you got a little movement up here. London, Mississippi caught in a really bad spot here. HL first Delaware getting some nice shots at them. I kind of froze here. I don't know why they are, but I mean they hit about half your guys. I don't know about that one.
Keep it up, boys. Keep it up.
And now you got Union moving out this way, so maybe a mistake here, but that ticket difference is so much. CQB is slamming. And Union should just push this. I mean, good on the flag bearer there, pervert, for getting out there. Flag discipline's going to be huge, especially for CSA. But again, right, huge advantage of CSA. I know I've said that a bunch, but I can't say that enough. But if Union has a chance, they got to take it. And I mean, it looks like they're starting to push up. Getting on this hill is a huge first step for them. It kind of takes away that defensive spot for CSA deflating. Union already gets a beautiful shot in there as well. So maybe things starting to turn a little bit for the Union side. The question is, can they continue the momentum? They're going to have to cap on CSA breaking. They're down too many tickets, or they're going to have to catch up on tickets, which is going to be difficult to do.
Single line.
Doug, we are wasting tickets by sitting out here in the open.
There is no cover on this map, my guy. I'm sorry. The only cover you have is if you're CSA. I mean, CSA is just bunched up here, and they're starting to spread out because they're way clumped up. Nice idea here from London, Mississippi going over to the rocks here. Just kind of spreading yourself up. Don't want to be clumped up. And I mean, if you look, you got more Union groups starting to shift over this Union right side attack. And there's a lot of CSA sitting over here. If Union could maybe figure that out or just go in, they could have an advantage. Again, the more you sit as an attacker gives more time for the defenders to figure out what they want to do.
Watch out southwest, boys. Watch out southwest.
And Union's starting to... Again, CSA's got buck and ball. Why is Union continually wanting to get in these close shootouts with the CSA? Something that baffles me.
Keep it up, boys. Shoot through them bushes.
And they have a slight deflate here, which is maybe what they're going for. But if you're going to get this close at this point, just charge in. Well, Union team, though, they're at least doing it together, which is nice to see. Looks like they got 3. I don't know where the 4th Union flag is, but CSA trying to get around with a little flank here. DB going this way.
Making good there behind you.
Nice couple of kills there. Meanwhile, 42nd PA, 30th Ohio, trying to kind of hit this Union left side. It's a great angle. Sure, they're in the open as well, but they got a pretty decent ticket lead, and I mean, you don't want to put your whole team in the tiny area. Meanwhile, this Union right side's getting charged out. Union flag getting a little far forward there. A little Mississippi trying to take advantage.
Take position on the guns. Take position on the guns. Hold the guns.
So, Little Mississippi pushing up. Mass CSA charging now from the whole team here. A little spread out, but it's coordinated. Good to see from them. And this Union group just did not even see the CSA coming up the center side, kind of leaving their flags exposed. Oh my goodness. Union might lose all their flags here.
Run your team. Run your team.
So that's 3 down. What was that arty shot?
40-second recover.
Well, good job from Jerry there. He'll at least get it back to a good spot for his friendly that's a pickup, but really good counter push there from the CSA side. They went in from a lot of different angles around the same time. Really well executed from them. And at this point, Union could still win. It's a very faint chance. They got to capture the point, because once they capture point, when CSA hits braking, they're about to do that. But once they hit break in the CSA, the Union can capture and win the point right away. But we haven't seen Union really win a charge, so this does not look good for Union. Now, if Union wanted to, they could play this a couple of ways at this point. They could just charge right in. They could sit and have a shootout. And honestly, they can sit and shoot it out until the CSA hits breaking. But at that point, I think you should just charge in. Holy arty shot. Beautiful there. Maybe not mine. What a shot. That one looked pretty good too. I don't know how well it did, but it hit the spot. Anyways, wow. Real good shot there from these guys here. Kijura and Kevin. Kijura got that beautiful one, though. Anyways, at this point, Union, there's really not a whole lot of reason for Union to shoot down the CSA at this point. Shootouts have not really helped out the Union this whole round at this point. And so what are you going to do? Shoot them down to like a fourth of the way through breaking or something? In that time, Union's going to drop closer and closer to the final push. It's not going to give them that extra edge. If Union was winning shootouts throughout this round, then maybe you could say that it'd be a good idea. Because if Union can lower the ticket gap between each side, that would be their best move in my opinion. So if maybe Union could try to shoot out and try to do that. But the thing is that when they have this shootout, a lot of their guys are going to be respawning at main unless they get up and get these flags. I would not be surprised if Union just went in and tried to outright win. Because they can maybe not hit final push for one wave. Maybe. Most likely they'll hit final push. But
Yeah, good fucking move moving us out. Look where that shell hit.
so Union's starting to push forward. What are they going to do? Again, Union can't really use this woods. I wish this woods was inbounds for the Union side. It would help Union out so much on this map, and they need it. Similarly on the other side as well, because Union can't even go through the cornfield over there. But Union's going to go in. They're kind of getting a shootout there on the snake fence, but Mississippi again kind of caught off guard for the second time, and they're going to get ran through, and they're going to lose their flag as well. So that's huge there for Union side. Nice charge there from 15th Wisconsin. And Hampton's Legion. CSA's got to aggressively hold this. They know they have a lot of Union flags down. You don't want to give Union the flags back because that's a huge way Union can win. However, it doesn't look like that is going to be the case. So, CSA continually trying to encircle. Union has to charge in now. They got to defeat the CSA in detail before they can overwhelm them by encircling them. So Union looks like they're starting to break through some initial CSA defending lines. 2 CSA flags down now. CSA is about to lose a third. Last CSA force is flanking around, but every second that these CSA flags are down, they're not getting guys in. But Union is getting guys in with their flags. CSA, again, a great flank, but you got to get in there. You can't keep ending around. And Union played this really well, and they might have a window to capture the point. They're going to hit final push. But Union just needs to capture point. It's going to be close here. Union just has to keep their flags up. You got a couple guys out here trying to keep CSA flags down. Looks like the one Union flag was down, but it goes down.
Hey, get our friendly flags up. Get the friendly flags up. Get the friendly flags up. Get these flags.
Gene is trying, but there he goes. Union's got to win it now or else it's over. It was a, you get what CSA was doing, but Union responded to that little encirclement perfectly. There's only one flag up here for Union? Ah, here comes the second one.
Be ready.
Be ready, boys.
Charge him, do not charge him.
Brace, I said.
Good job, boys. Good job.
Come here, rebel.
No way Union pulls this off.
Yeah, I got him, boys. Come on.
And CSA's taking it back.
Give me your flag. Give me your flag. Hello, Mr. Flag Bearer.
If Union would have somehow pulled that win, that would be insane. However, that was probably Union's best chance. It's going to take them a minute and a half to reform. I mean, they could all spawn main, which it looks like they did, but it's going to still take them a minute and a half to get up to the field, and they're down now 2 flags on point. CSA just needs to push past that. Hold up on the stake fence at this point. Maybe have some guys up there as well. Nice hardy shot. And they could, you know, keep Union from respawning on the field with those flags. So, I mean, the crazy part, too, regardless of Union almost taking it, CSA has been up by like half the morale stage or 2/3 of morale stage most of this match. CSA almost lost to a major blunder, but they have a huge ticket lead. This map was balanced wrong. So CSA, I really like the counter push here. They're gonna get some Union flags in the process. PB 42nd, 30th, 11 Mississippi. I mean, it's just a mix of everyone there. Really good counter push from there. They get a 3rd Union flag down, and at this point, Union's got the minute 45 now to win. And I mean, CSA is just not going to let the Union take the point, so Union's most likely going to have to hit CSA into last stand and then wipe a considerable amount of CSA, which for a minute and a half, not a lot of time. But you never know, right? That's why you play the game. I mean, Union just almost pulled it off a moment ago. Union at this point, the only thing that matters for them are their flags. They just need to keep respawning guys on the map.
Keep moving, boys. Keep moving.
1 minute.
Keep it moving. Keep it moving.
Union gets more bodies on point and the clock hits 0. They can start in overtime, and they'll have to continually keep capping the point to do it. Here comes CSA from the defenses. Union smartly trying to get those flags out, at least from the initial line. CSA's got to push through and wipe the Union flags, and they're going to win the day. And that is going to be our round. So, good win there from CSA. Again, maybe not the most optimal strats from CSA, but they did good enough to win, and that is frankly all that matters. Now, I don't know what or why the decision was made to give CSA an additional 7.5% tickets on this map. That does not make a lot of sense to me. And I mean, the thing is, right? Yeah, you almost wonder with how close this round is. You wonder if maybe Union would have pulled this off before. So, honestly, I almost wonder. Yeah, I really wonder if Union wins this pre-update. Nice fuse already shot, but yeah, nonetheless, good round. I mean, Union, despite the shortcomings throughout the round, the difficulty of the map, they played it considerably well. I mean, they got CSA down the last stand in the end, but you know, that's just kind of prompts to CSA with their good play. Again, I don't like CSA holding that front snake fence that they were kind of holding right here. I think that's just a bad idea for CSA. You're putting yourself in a really exposed spot. Hold back behind the defilade, force Union in. Regardless, good win CSA. Sides are going to flip, and we'll see you all shortly for round number 2. With that being said, here we are for our second round now. The Hagerstown Turnpike. Originally was a 24% ticket advantage to the attacking side. The developers added 10% tickets to the defending side, though, so the Union only has a 14% ticket advantage now, which I think the change is a little too much. The map has been played very competitively as of late, both sides being able to kind of pull it out if they play it well. I could maybe understand CSA getting like 5% more tickets or just keeping it the same, but regardless, we'll see how the round kind of plays out. Server population for this, we're at 219. There were a couple of server crashes before this, so if that number was a little off, it could be why, and that number might spike up as we kind of progress here. But CSA for the moment is up by 5. Artillery-wise, CSA has 5, and the Union has 6. So with that all being said, our imbalance is 6 infantry-wise in favor of the CSA side. Again, sides flipped, so the frontline reporters flipped as well. Union attacking. They have the 14th Brooklyn with the Enfield, and they have the 6th Wisconsin with the Lorenz or the Springfield 61, whereas the CSA defense, they have the 9th Louisiana with the option of the Springfield 55 or the Springfield 42, so buck and ball, and then they have the 1st Louisiana Zouaves with the option of the Mississippi or the Springfield 42. So CSA as a whole, they have the option for those buck and ball weapons, but besides all that, Hagerstown Turnpike, in historical sense, Union likes to push up to this hill here and then kind of push down towards the point, which is here, maybe early cap to draw CSA out. CSA kind of has strong positions on this map, and it can be hard for Union to get to them outside of charging. When you're charging into buck and ball, it's very difficult. So Union, as of late, has kind of done what we're seeing here, like to spread out across the whole kind of open area here and just shoot it out with the CSA for a while. They might eventually run out to capture the point here and then fall back, and as a result, it'll draw CSA out of the defensive positions. Now, Union doesn't generally like to aggressively hold the point just because CSA has the buck and ball, and when you fight close range with that, that can be deadly. But, of course, we'll kind of see how the round plays out and how well the shootout does. The shootout should help the Union out, as kind of described last round. Even with a lower percentage advantage. However, they should be good. So, yeah, I mean, really not much more to say about this round. You got Union already over there, which they're kind of by themselves. So, it would be cool if Union had Artie out here in the open field, though. I think that'd be a lot better spot for the Union. That'd be kind of neat as well. I don't remember if this map got, this was one of the maps that got balanced. There were some maps where the boundaries changed. I know it was Burnside's Bridge, High Street, where it got changed. And then, what was the last map? Cook's Countercharge. So, actually, that does intrigue me. Alright. I was just looking at something. It was interesting. I watched High Street last night, and one of the batteries for the CSA was out of bounds, but yet they could still spawn on it. It was a little confusing. And then I was just seeing if I got a reply, which I did not. So, anyways, so far tickets have kind of actually stayed pretty even. I mean, CSA is going to have the stronger positions. Union's kind of in an open field here. They could try to push their luck and try to charge this left side. They can't go terribly far back to like that artillery, but they could charge these guys out if they want. But I assume if Union charged, the CSA would back off.
Northeast, gentlemen. East, northeast. Oh, goddamn Union.
But, I mean, so far, it's been probably, what, 3-4 minutes since the shootout? And I mean, each side's about a third of a stage down. So, I mean, the pace for Union so far is at least pretty good with a shootout. Is it going to be enough for the long run, of course? Time will tell with that, however. For now, it kind of is what it is. Outside of the Union artillery over here, CSA defense-wise, looks like you got some IVB guys in 28th Massachusetts harassing that arty on the left side. Midwest Brigade holding this left side. Looks like CQB is a guy in there kind of as a messenger. You got 1st Delaware on the arty, and then a lot of the CSA right, HL, Colquitt's Brigade, Iron Brigade, and such. We'll also note Union is starting to put a little more pressure, starting to encircle and push up. Meanwhile, on the Union side, you got Pickett's Brigade holding down the left side. More towards the center, you got 12th VA, 42nd Pennsylvania, 30th Ohio, and then kind of this Union center side, you got JD, so a couple JD guys, 11 Mississippi holding there, and then maybe you got some respawns, but it's just DB shooting out with the CSA up top. Now, Union's starting to get a little closer here, but haven't tried to capture that point yet, which again, right, even if the Union pace is slow, they can just simply walk up and capture the point from here and then back off. It would at least save you a little time there. As also, I think, to note, the 1st Kentucky is leading the Union side, and the Midwest Brigade / 17th Michigan is leading the CSA side. CSA side being Union campaign, USA side being CSA campaign. But Union actually getting a slight ticket lead here. Again, this is what you normally expect over the long run. And I think CSA kind of realized that as well, and they're going to back off because they don't like it, which you can't blame them. It looks like they actually rolled up the caissons to form a mini wall here. But if CSA is going to back off like this, try to preserve their tickets, play a game with time, Union can simply walk up and capture the point. So... And, I mean, this ticket lead is actually starting to get a bit substantial here. Maybe this 10% ticket change was not that bad after all. But then again, I will say the past couple times I have watched this, the Union did like to go up on this side. Most of the time. The recent match of Hagerstown's was SSL Championship, and the Union did a similar thing like this, and they won a very close match, if I remember right. So it would not necessarily be surprising for Union to keep doing something like this. So CSA is almost down to engaged. Yeah, Union should just keep doing this. Keep inching forward as CSA falls back. If they fall back too far to where they're deflated, because if they go back here, it's really good deflated spots. Then Union could just capture point and force CSA out. I will note the major difference between this match and the SSL match that I watched. CSA is playing a much more forward and aggressive position than the CSA was in that round. CSA, for the most part, was holding behind these defilades here and just really just keeping their distance with the Union, and then only moving out when the Union captured the point.
Hayden, what are you doing inside there, Hayden?
That is not okay.
So CSA goes down to engage. Almost 9 minutes into the round, and it's not a good sign for CSA. Really good sign for the Union side here. Union just has to keep tickets even, and they're fine. And you got, yep, the Union they're just playing this as they should, you know. Maybe not getting overly aggressive because they don't want to get wiped, but are they going in now? They're going in. Union's kind of got a two-pronged attack here, so I'm going for that arty. You got a good amount going center here. Nice CSA arty shot. They got that flag down for a moment anyways. And this Union charge is going in very sporadic. And you got some guys not even going in here. And this is going to help CSA kind of a lot here. Union hits engaged. Union can't lose the flags over here, or else they're losing them for 5 minutes. Which Union may be getting a little bit of a foothold here. Who is this? Well, Mississippi, maybe some respawns. First Kentucky is just holding out here. I don't know why they're not going in. Union's starting to back off, trying to preserve those flags. Good idea to be conservative with them, especially on a map like this. You don't want to lose your flag inside a defensive position. But Union hits a gauge. CSA, though, about a 4-3 engage, and this map's going really well for the Union side. And some CSA getting a little ballsy. I think it's HL. And Union kind of saw that right away and are pushing them back. Meanwhile, you can kind of see in the distance CSA get really aggressive, pushing out, trying to get these Union flags down, but alas, it is not working. So, good flag discipline here from the Union side, and now Union's almost up by a half morale stage lead right now.
You have 17 on flag.
Southwest.
14 on flag.
What's up, people?
West Southwest.
You know, I initially would have thought that CSA would have been doing well, but I mean, maybe it's the server pop we're on. What are we at? I mean, we're at 230. That's a reasonable amount, but wow. I don't think I've seen Union win. Sorry, they haven't won yet, but it's looking great for them. I don't think I've seen Union do this well. Now, a mistake for Union would be early capping. They're on point right now. They're capturing. Which, there's no need for them to capture. 11 Mississippi, they're on point right now with some Davis Brigade guys. You want to early cap if you're running out of time, or the defenders are in a really entrenched position, and tickets are, like, even. Right now, none of those conditions are met. There is no reason for them to early cap right now. The only thing they're doing is they're early capping. It's going to draw CSA out, and if CSA retakes the point, which they most likely will, they're going to regain a half morale stage of tickets. However, we are in a campaign, my friends. They could be doing this intentionally. We saw it last week with the early caps and stuff like that. However, they're starting to pull off now. If one of these guys isn't skirmishing on point, they're still capturing. Which, seriously, this is the most lopsided I've seen this map in a long time. But they pull off the cap. Again, we saw a similar thing last week in the hour and 20-minute broadcast of this event.
Couple guys, maybe.
But where they just early capped on purpose to let the defenders retake and let them regain a bunch of tickets, so that they could deal more casualties to them. So it's definitely a campaign strategy. But CSA is going to hit taking losses. Union's up by half morale. This is seriously the most lopsided game I've seen. And I think it's just partly CSA is just staying in very exposed positions. And I mean, if the past couple matches I've seen have been very competitive, you would think with CSA getting more tickets, things would be a little, you know, more competitive, maybe more CSA biased, but that's not what we're seeing here. I think it's just because CSA has really just held a aggressive... Oh my goodness, that body flipped. But I think it's CSA's played real aggressive on this map. Or maybe it's just a really good Union plan. Unfortunately, a question like that cannot be answered in one round. The sample size is too small to figure out. But initially thought this 10% ticket imbalance or buff to CSA was a bad thing. But, I mean, based on what we're seeing now, maybe they even need more. But that's definitely an overreaction there.
Hey, off the cap, off the cap.
I'm not on the cap over here.
Bottom up, you see him.
So, Union, I like what they're doing. They've taken a lot of ground here. CSA kind of forced to back up a little bit. Again, they're in those more traditional defensive positions. Maybe not those guys there, but they're just trying to slow it to a halt. Do want to note that the balance is really good. It's actually even infantry-wise, so Nothing crazy there. The High Street match I watched last night, the Union was up by 23 infantry, 15 pre-artillery consideration. And Union won that High Street match. Who would have thought you're up by 23 infantry, guys, you're going to win High Street as Union, but... So, well, the Mississippi's moving on point now. They're moving through.
Spread it out here on the line, boys. Spread it out
Looks
here
like they're going to cap.
Shoot, 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 shoot. Kill them all, kill them all.
Now, again, right? Union's been winning this shootout the whole game. There's nothing to... There's no reason why Union would overly... Even on the charges, Union's done well. So anything that Union's done, it's kind of worked. Sure, if the CSA retake the point and regain a good amount of tickets, the Union side can just shoot them back down. So, obviously, an early cap, it maybe not be... It's maybe not the best thing for the Union side, because you don't want to give CSA tickets back, but everything he's done has worked, so it ain't the worst thing in the world, right? So... CSA at this point, you got to move quick. Union's still losing tickets. Same with CSA. Both sides are losing tickets here. And so if you're CSA, you want to regain as many tickets as possible, right? So you want to try to retake this point as quickly as possible. Meanwhile, if you're Union, right, CSA is regaining tickets. And they're going to be even with you if they retake the point. So if you're Union, you want to try to lose a lot of tickets here. Still stay ahead of CSA by a little bit. But in Union's case, you want to lose like about a third to a half morale stage here. But... CQB running up, slaughtering Lund, Mississippi, and Davis Brigade. They're getting a flag down. That's another thing Union has to pay attention to, is they cannot lose their flags.
They're right by the tree. Right by the tree in defense.
CSA's got buck and ball. At least they should be using it. I don't know why Union's trying to get in these close shootouts. CSA's just charging in, though. They might not have their loads.
Fuck you, bitch.
CSA flag down. And I mean, charges, it's kind of close here. Flags are going to be a major part in deciding all these. CSA got 2 flags at least able to spawn guys in. That's now down to... No, they got all the flags down. Union did a really good job from them. And Union's going to be able to clean this up and get that flag back up. And they're going to hold a lot of Union air holding off CSA. Already shot, destroying the fence there. I will say also, never mentioned, but at gold timer, if Union holds it till 0, they'll win the game. I have not seen a more lopsided Hagers in a while. I don't know if CSA is not taking buck and ball or what, but Union does not dominate this map this well on even numbers. This is kind of surprising to see. And now they're even going to charge. Might as well try to get more CSA flags in the process. So again, as long as Union can kind of keep that flag discipline, this will be good. They got reinforcements rolling up. Union has all 4 flags. You know, you can tell who dies at times based on the music. But Union's starting to regather on point. CSA kind of spreading out here. They're pushing over here trying to get their flags back. They do have all of them back. 3.5 minutes left on the gold timer. And CSA spread out again. Union could try to hit them and defeat them in detail again if they want. However, it looks like Union's starting to back off here. 42nd PA and 30th Ohio heading that way right now. And the more Union's starting to follow. And maybe Union's just like, alright, we've played things close. We have our flags. We're kind of reformed. Let's just get ourselves out of here. CSA is going to retake. We'll both be in a lower taking losses. We can shoot them down to breaking and then capture and win the game. Could definitely be a possibility here. Because again, for some reason, Union is doing well in this game. CSA is kind of pushing out as well. But nice already shot from CSA there. Real good shot. And Union actually might be in breaking by the time we finish this up. So CSA is going to have to at least stay near the point. Not that it really matters. Oh, CSA is going to counter charge actually. This is ballsy, trying to get Union flags down.
Protect the flag, boys. Protect the flag.
Do you want some sunshine? Fucking flag!
So Union will get down to breaking. That's one flag down. The thing is, though, it's not behind a CSA defensive line, so it's not like CSA got a whole lot out of that outside of killing Union on tickets, which means they won't regain as many. But again, I don't know if it really matters at this point. CSA at this point, if Union captures at any point now, they'll win the game, and I don't see any reason how CSA could pull this back. The Union's won the shootout. Union's got a little over 28 minutes. They can sit and shoot this out for the rest of the round if they want.
40 seconds.
Go, go, go. Follow star left. Move it, move it, move it. Follow that star.
So, I mean, already, like, it looks like CSA's down a little bit more on tickets, and we just got out of the counterattack. So, CSA, again, playing aggressive defense. I can't say definitively, but what makes me feel the CSA kind of lost on the shootout was just because they were holding so far forward, which they did over here, but now they're starting to do on this side. I don't know if they're trying to pin maybe Union in their spawn, but CSA is actually kind of getting in that corner. I don't know how far over they can go before they're out of bounds, however.
42. Okay, good. You got bucket ball? Yep. No jealous.
Hey, coach.
Yeah, I'm down to play, hon.
Alright, fair.
Guys, get flying.
That flag up.
Pull it back, Camden.
Pull it back.
That flag up.
Flag, let's go. Pull it back.
Gentlemen, I want you gone. No.
So CSA kind of backing off at this left side, returning to the point. Tickets, maybe they look even, maybe a little slightly in Union's favor, but Union's just got to stay the course. CSA, you get why CSA has to stay out here. They have to play near the point to prevent Union from just running up and capturing it. However, this wasn't working for them earlier. They can sit a little far back and still be fine, right? Sure, if you're holding back here, you're not on the point, but you have time to run up and engage the point. If you see Union going out there, you can push yourself out there. So it's like CSA doesn't necessarily need to be out here. But I mean, if the tickets stay somewhat even, that could be perceived as okay for CSA. It's more better for Union, though, just because the nice artist shot. The defender's last stage is last stand. They can't respawn. The attacker's his final push. Infinite respawns, but the black timer will drop to a couple minutes left. And that's the thing. It's a huge advantage for the attackers that they can just keep respawning dudes in. So CSA needs to get some form of a ticket lead here before Union drops into their last stage. If not, Union will just slowly kind of take this round over. So CSA, CQB starting to fall back, at least on this right side. Meanwhile, they're still holding heavy on the point, which actually CSA might have a teeny lead now. It's so tiny. That's I almost wish that us spectators could get extra information out of what was going on in the battle, like certain exact ticket numbers, but obviously that can be since anyone can just spectate at any moment, it could give someone a huge advantage to know that information and relay it to their friends, whether it be private or a public match, because that happens occasionally in the pubs where people will regimentals will hop on, they want to recruit, they want to do well, they'll set someone in spectator to tell them what's going on. Can't ever really prove that, but I've heard stories. So.
Oh no, he died. Forward.
So I will say this is a little surprising. Oh, you got a little charge over there. Maybe that's important, right? It might be a nice little charge here too. 11 Mississippi. They wiped somebody. Don't even know who they are. Midwest Brigade and IVB guys are moving over. Some First Delaware as well, trying to assist. They'll get that flag back, but that's a good charge there. The CSA took a little hit on tickets there.
11th into the corn. Go, 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 go.
Into the corn. Let's go. Get away from
11th, go into the corn.
Into the corn, boys. Into the corn.
But actually, with how... I don't know what was happening earlier versus now to where the tickets are actually fairly even, unlike earlier where Union was getting a huge ticket lead. I mean, I know CSA's backed off now, but for the majority of breaking, they stayed out kind of in those original forward positions, so maybe Union's just missing war shots, who knows.
Amen.
Try and bring that spacing in a little bit, boys. I don't want you to be skirmishing now. Not too much, but just a little.
But yeah, as mentioned earlier, Union close to final push their last stage. Black time will drop to a couple minutes left. It's different on each map. And that time, it's the amount of time it takes for a person to spawn in at main, run the point 2 times without bayonets and reloads is supposedly what that is. And then CSA hit last stand. They can't respawn. However, if they were dead at the beginning of the wave, they'll respawn at main right away. If they were dead when they hit last stand anyways, they'll spawn back in main instantly, so it's the defenders that at least get one whole wave. And actually, it looks like Union's going to drop first. I mean, if anyone has any ideas as to why this is, maybe CSA's dying a lot less out of line and skirmishing. We can maybe look at that at the end, or at least, yeah, but something's changed from what happened earlier. For why CSA's got a little bit of a ticket lead here. It's not necessarily enough to where they can sit comfortably. That's about a third to a half morale stage, where as a defender you can feel comfortable, but for now, something changed. Yeah, it has to be in skirmishing and out-of-line deaths for CSA. It has to be it. Because it's not like a whole lot else changed, so 2 minutes left. Union, they have good reason to keep shooting this out, right? You're trying to get CSA down the last stand. You don't want them to respawn. When you're an attacker, you want to charge into a defender as they're hitting last stand. You don't want to charge them, and then they hit last stand in the middle of the charge, right? Because everyone respawns if they're dead for a defender. So it makes sense. However, Union doesn't have a lot of time, so they need to start getting aggressive here. Now you got CSA reinforcements starting to move over to the point, and Union flag discipline is key for Union at this point. Union needs to keep the fight up on point. They just need more numbers on point, and the clock hits 0 to take it. CSA pulls us off. You almost wonder if that early cap was a good idea for Union. Obviously, hindsight is 20/20, but it's kind of surprising how well CSA take this back. Anyway, CSA kind of doing an encircling movement here. This is what we saw from the CSA last round, who are now on Union. Again, the circling movement, it makes sense. You're trying to get... CSA's going to win this. Union flags being chased back. You've got a fair amount of Union actually on point. Maybe I should not have said that. We still got 30 seconds. That's a lot of time left on the clock. Union flag discipline is actually very good. It looked for a moment like they were going to get the flags, which is why I said that. CSA similarly just needs more bodies on point when the clock hits 0 and they can take the win. It's going to be close. Union's chugging it out on main without bayonets and loads. CSA is going to take this. Wow.
Counter charge, boys.
Wow. What? What? How? There is no reason why that should have happened. The shootout at the beginning was heavily favoring the Union side. I don't know how the tickets were kept even when CSA was sitting in their original positions. Anyways, what a round two. It looked like it was going to be a blowout, but I guess not. Real good round. Anyways, with that all being said, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe if you want to support the channel more. Go beneath the video and hit the join button. By doing so, you can get a live stream of all the broadcasts we do. You can advertise your regiment in the bottom of our videos and get an additional broadcast per week. Besides that, though, we got our Discord clips channel and more in the description. Looking at the information in skirmishing, CSA's taking a lot of skirmishing. It's similar to Union, but yeah, CSA did not take a lot of skirmishing and out of line there in that last shootout. That was it. Anyways, appreciate you all. Could not do this without you, and we'll see you in the next one.